Thank you, Sandy, so much, and I'm so thankful to be here today to talk to you guys. As you said, my name is Morgan. I'm with WellCare, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about WellCare today and the advocacy program that I'm in, but our focus is going to be on the Team Ultra program because I think it's a really good representation of how health and education can meet. So WellCare focuses on government-sponsored managed care services, things like Medicaid, Medicare Advantage, Medicare prescription drug plans. And we're focusing on really enhancing the quality of life of families, children, seniors, those with some complex health needs. So when looking at our company, we started actually in 1985 and are headquartered in Tampa, Florida. We serve about 3.8 million members nationwide. But as you look down into Kentucky, we serve over 450,000 members just here in this state. We've got 6 offices across the state. The closest one to here is actually in Hazard, and that's where I live and work. And I cover areas all the way up into Big Sandy, Pikeville, areas like this, down into Whitley, Bell, and Harlan County, which is where I'm originally from. So what I'm hoping to really get out of this is for you to hear about what Team Ultra is. It started in Marshall County over in the western part of the state in a small rural county. And I want to see if there are ways that it can be implemented here if you're interested in that for your school systems. And also about some of the outcomes that we've been able to track through that, which is really interesting. We'll get to later in the presentation. Now, when we're looking at the importance of it, these figures are from the CDC. They've probably fluctuated a little since we were able to pull them, but those numbers that's pretty big. You're looking at pre-K kids, 15% in Kentucky that are obese, and that just increases when they're moving into grades 9 through 12. I was that kid. I still struggle with that every day. I've got a 16-month-old now that I don't want struggling with that. And that's when I think parents, schools, the community can come together with programs like this to bring those numbers down for our kids. Because what we want to do is look at changing for a positive culture of health, right, overall in our communities and our schools. And I think Team Ultra can be a really cool place to start doing that. So a little bit of history with Team Ultra. As I said, it had started in Marshall County. The state had come into some public health departments saying, we need to get kids more active. What can we do to get kids more active? And so with Marshall County Health Department, one of the employees there thought about going into the schools and thought about something from his childhood that really made a difference for him. And that was an after-school running club that really made a difference for his fitness. And so they started out in one school in Sharp in Marshall County doing an after-school running club. And after a couple of years, that was able to get bigger and actually ended up in all 6 elementary schools, morphing into what is Team Ultra today. And so when we're looking at what Team Ultra is an after-school program that teaches healthy behaviors to kids. And there are 3 main focus areas, which are all equally vitally important to make this happen. And that's physical activity, nutrition education, and character building, which I think is a really key piece that you don't see in a lot of different programs going. And this is for 3rd to 5th grade students is who they're focusing on with this program. And the reason it became important in this area, as I said, it's rural. We have a lot of rural areas here in eastern Kentucky. And they didn't have a YMCA. They didn't have a Boys and Girls Club. They had to find another way to get the kids involved for that health education. And when you're looking at doing something like that, we all know, they say it takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village to make it happen. You have to utilize a lot of partnerships from getting your school district buy into it, because that's where this is going to take place, is at the schools. You're getting your health departments involved. The Marshall County Health Department was the fiscal sponsor here. They had some staff hours with AmeriCorps and in the Family Resource Center. From the first slide you guys saw, the kids in the orange t-shirts, the high school students in Marshall County actually designed those. So they were getting involved to come out and do things for the elementary school students. Your parents need to be involved. They're going to be the ones allowing their kids to stay after school at these events and pick them up. And we actually had a graduate student from Murray State who came in to track some of the outcomes from this program that I'll get to share a little while later. With WellCare Health Plans, we got involved because it had become so special and important to Marshall County schools that there were kids who couldn't do it. There was a wait list because so many kids wanted to get involved. And so we were able to come in with grant funding to make sure that every kid who wanted to take part could with the programs in all 6 schools. And the reason that WellCare got involved, and especially on the advocacy team, this is our focus when we're talking about advocacy. This is from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and if you'll see the top half, it's all about how health factors lead to positive health outcomes. And so your top half are those contracted services, the Medicaid billable services. But the bottom half are those social determinants of health. You heard Fran talking about that. They're talking about it in Washington, how important it is now. And we know that that affects half of a person's health outcomes. And so because of those social factors playing such a large role, we wanted to get involved to see how we could help fill those gaps to make sure that kids were getting access to those healthy activities in schools. And with advocacy, we do that in a lot of different ways. We've created a database for our members of resources that they need to meet those needs for social determinants of health. We come and speak at conferences about the things we're doing. We go to community activities, and we're also able to look at community health grants. And granting Team Ultra really fit into a lot of what we're doing. What I love about Team Ultra is kids are learning to play again. So many kids sit on their iPad or they're sitting in front of the TV, and they're getting to go out and experience play in a way they haven't before. And they're getting to teach each other about simple things, from taking the stairs instead of the elevator, doing outdoor chores, and doing things that don't require a lot of expensive equipment. Things that when they go home, they can do it there and they can do it with their families to get them involved. When we're looking at a typical Team Ultra session, they come together after school. It's 1 time per week, and it runs normally through September into March in the school year. They take attendance, and then they do about 45 minutes of moderate activity, playing, and about 10 minutes of that goes to health education. And the games, one of my favorite ones, when you're looking at physical activity and character building and bringing those together, they play kickball. And the kickball, I love that they do together. Every kid on the offense team, when they go to kick the ball, everyone on the bases has to run around. Like, they have to get to home plate in order to make that point. And then the kids in the outfield on defense, it's not just one kid, if they kick the ball and one catches it, that doesn't get them out. Every kid out in the outfield has to touch the ball too. So they have to work as a team to make it happen. Now, at first, the kid gets it and they're throwing it right to their team player. Eventually, they connect on the team building, that problem solving, and when the person kicks the ball, whoever it's coming to, all those kids run to them, and they're standing in a line together and just pass it down so they can quickly do it and get the kid out, right? So they're working together on that problem solving. Their motto is, we reap what we sow and then some. And so that's respect of self and others. They really expect those kids to be very respectful when they're together. They want to make sure that they're including everyone in citizenship together and giving effort in everything that they're doing. When we're talking about eating habits, not only are they going over nutrition education each week when they're together, they're going to the raised bed gardens in the school. They're learning about growing fresh produce. They can take a plant home and grow it and see that happen with their families. Now, here are some of the outcomes that I was talking about. And I think the first part is awesome, right? You had a 12% decrease in overweight and obesity numbers with the kids who took part in Team Ultra. But then you compare that to the kids who didn't take part in Team Ultra, and they had a 26% increase in their obesity and overweight numbers. We also saw the kids who got additional nutrition education. They had an 8% higher test scores at the end of the year when they got together for their culminating event. It's like a big field day where all the Team Ultra kids get to come together and play as one. WellCare, another thing that we did on top of funding, were give little incentives of pedometers if kids got their annual well child checkups, those preventative checkups. And we saw that 251 of the 292 kids that took part in this actually were able to get those screenings during that time period. And school nurses played a big role in that. When you're looking at a program like this and we're talking about it succeeding, you know, in Marshall County, they had the champion from the health department who wanted it. They had teachers behind it, your principals. You want to make sure that the board is buying into this to be able to go into each school and want it to happen. Now, where we come in with WellCare, we can help provide some program training. If this is something you're interested in getting started in your community and schools, we want to do that. We want to make sure that it's available to you so we can help with program training if it's something that you're interested in implementing. And we'd also love to help with grant funding. If it's something that you want to do, talk with us. I've got a booth downstairs. I'm happy to, I can talk all day long if you want to come talk to me. I'll give you my card if you want to hand me yours and we can talk further about it. I've also got some information up here for the folks in Marshall County who took part in it, if that's someone you want to reach out to, if it's a role similar to what you play, and so you want to hear from the people who are doing it, that would be great, and we can help get you connected as well. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I think this is a wonderful program that I can see working here in rural Eastern Kentucky in the way that it's working in rural Western Kentucky as well.